Car sales in Ireland have been going up and up, and last year was no exception. Consequently, there are a lot of second-hand cars on the market. Now, if you want to buy a second-hand car, how do you know its history? How do you know it hasn't been stolen? How do you know there's no money owing on it? Well, there's one way of finding out, and we went to visit Motorcheck.ie. Now, Motorcheck will do a search on your car. For example, this is an Audi, and it's about a year old, and I don't know anything about this car.
Benchmark, Tony, the company that runs Motorcheck, has been around for 6 years. And we've been helping people buy new and used cars for a long time. And historically, the check that you could perform on the history of a car was either getting a mechanic to come along and inspect it for you, or maybe calling up the older brother who has an interest in cars and seeing if you could kick the tyres and figure out by the old staples of, is the steering wheel smooth and do the numbers line up right on the odometer as to whether it had been clocked or not or had a genuine history. But in the last couple of years, we've been lucky that the government, especially the Department of the Environment, have digitalised their database quite extensively. And with the onset of people like the NCT and some trade initiatives to record odometer readings, we saw at Motorcheck that it was going to be very easy, or I suppose possible, to pull together all that data and form a vehicle history check on a website, which would give somebody the opportunity to get as much of the paper history of the car as possible before they actually go to perform a test drive or to get a mechanic to look at it at all. We're lucky that Motorcheck is the only vehicle history check that can access the INCH database. That's the Irish National Car History Database. And that's a group of practitioners who've come together to record odometer readings of cars when they're in their possession. People from the trade, insurance companies, fuel companies, etc. And we're finding, especially with the National Consumer Association focusing in on clocking as a practice, that registration with the INCH database really makes it difficult for the clocker to get away with changing or modifying the mileage, because we would have had a previous history for the car. It's only in the last year and a half or so that the insurance industry has adopted a classification method used in the UK for determining vehicles to be what they call end-of-life vehicles. The government are moving at the moment to have all the scrappage experts nationwide who are scrapping these cars send certificates directly to the Department of the Environment. There's a little bit of a gap there at the moment. Motorcheck is monitoring it, and we give as much information as possible on vehicles when they're put through our system.
And Shane, all this searching can be done here at Motorcheck?
Absolutely, yeah. It's all done here at head office in Benchmark. I suppose the easiest thing to do, will I bring you inside and show you how the team operate and maybe run a report, Tony?
Please do.
Okay.
Love to.
Now, Tony, this is where it all happens. You can imagine Motorcheck as a website. From the front end, looks like something very simple to put together, but there's a lot of people involved in maintaining the databases. But Tony, this is a description and history check. So this is the one that we offer on Motorcheck. I think it costs €35. And it's everything combined. It's the description of the vehicle, its history, and then the finance part of it as well, which you can purchase as a separate report too. But this is the all-in-one. Okay, so this was for a 02 Toyota Yaris, and we give some general information about the car. With Motorcheck, you have an opportunity to verify some of the vehicle's documentation. So you can put in the chassis number that is on the vehicle or on the document, and we'll confirm it with the government database and let you know if possibly the documentation has been forged, if the car is genuine. You can do the same with the vehicle licensing certificate and the NCT. Motorcheck manages its own stolen vehicle register on the database at Motorcheck.ie, which is free of charge for anybody to record that their car has been stolen. If somebody subsequently runs a Motorcheck report on it, we'll let them know this car is stolen. Please contact the owner that's recorded it. Okay, so we've number of owners. In this case there was 4, including the current owner, and we're saying that's okay. It's in line with the Irish average. Nothing to worry about there. It hasn't been auctioned. It wasn't imported, which is a good sign. Okay, the first warning we have, and we've got a hand up, says that the NCT isn't valid on this car. So we'd need to speak to the owner about, has it failed an NCT? If so, what did it fail for? Or is it simply just that it hasn't expired yet? Okay, not often that we see these. This particular vehicle has been designated an ELV, or an end-of-life vehicle.
Okay.
So this has gone through the government's scrappage it's been crushed, or should have been crushed, and the certificate sent to the government for file at the Department of the Environment. But obviously somebody somewhere is purporting to be this car, whether it's a false registration plate on the one or it's the actual car itself. Marrying the chassis number with the car would tell us that. But that's a big stop we need to take care here, and we'd be recommending don't proceed with any purchase of this car.
Tell me, how does the average buyer contact you?
Well, the simple way to get a report is online at Motorcheck.ie. All you'll need when you come to the website is the registration number of the vehicle that you're interested in and your credit card.
And again, the cost of a test?
€35 for the full description, history and finance check. The finance check on its own, I think, is €20. And there are from time to time discounts and special offers that we offer. If anybody wants to call us here, 813-5590 is the phone number, Tony. We'll let them know if there's any current offers on, and perhaps we'll get them a discount online as well.